Hey guys, welcome to week 175 of the Super Mario World RomHack Races. This week's level is by mmBeefStew. It's called Camera Go Brr. This is a 6 out of 10 difficulty level, and it's his first level for the races. mmBeefStew also made El Dorado, which was one of my favorite hacks of 2021, which was a year that was just filled with great hacks. Let's go ahead and get started. This time there's no intro text, no tutorial, it just goes straight into the level. With the title that this level had, it was a pretty good bet that it was going to be an autoscroller. But here in this first section, there's also these little helper blocks that you have to keep alive the entire way. The autoscroll is forcing some movement here. I have to go over to the right block, hit the block with the green shell, and then go back to wait for an opening to go past the bullet bills. I saved the shell here, but I was really slow with it. It's not immediately obvious by looking at those nets, but they are sprite killers, so anything I throw into them just gets destroyed instantly. That forces a left shell throw to be able to get past this little section. And in order to throw that shell, I need to be standing on one of the helper blocks. It's basically how the whole section goes. You go forward on the front block, you do something at the front of the screen, and then you go back to the back one to do something else at the back of the screen. It's really cool how this section times out. If you just go immediately and do a big jump, you can catch that shell as it gets kicked out. Now, I somehow managed to do that section the right way accidentally the first time I was over there. You have to keep the disco shell between the blocks so that they don't get hit, and then you also have to hit the disco shell with the red shell to get it out of the way of the back one. It then becomes a Baby Yoshi feeding section. Just have to eat 4 of these falling disco shells. Luckily, the first 2 you can just stand on the block and face left, and Baby Yoshi just eats them automatically. The others, you have to go more out of your way and jump up and meet the disco shells as they're coming down. That green Koopa is positioned just perfectly for a mid-air Yoshi mount. And this was the easiest up pipe in the history of up pipes, and I still managed to miss it. You're on that front block with enough time to just wait for it to line up perfectly under the pipe, and you don't carry momentum, so you just go straight up. Now there's a lot going on when the screen first loads in. Yoshi's standing on a turn block. You have to hit that for a vine to come out. He's inside of some Mario-only blocks. The vine eats those blocks so that you can get on top of Yoshi. And then there are some sprite-only blocks on the right side that keeps Thwomps in place. And Yoshi, whenever he's inside of a wall, because of the small bouncing animation that he does, he climbs up automatically. So most of the rest of this section revolves around forcing Yoshi to go up and then catch up with him as he's further ahead. The jump here off of this red Koopa took a while for me to figure out. One thing that's pretty nice is that the camera is pretty generous about when you die at the bottom of it. So even though I get stuck and can't proceed, I get a pretty good preview of what's coming up ahead. Up ahead in the right side of the screen, there's a yellow shell that's inside the wall. Generally, in a Kaizo level, you will not be given extra items that are possible to get without needing to use them. I really go out of my way to grab that yellow shell, but it is intended to use it to hit that on-off switch. Now, I did a small pause there, which is unusual to do in a race, but I had accidentally released the run button, and if I had pressed it again, I would have lost that yellow shell. So I paused to hold the button without making Yoshi spit the shell. Yoshi still has the yellow shell in his mouth. I haven't seen ahead to know what actually happens with it, but still I'm in the mode of, I have the ability to take it, so I might as well just keep it as long as I possibly can. The level's actually pretty generous because I messed up pretty badly, first with the shell, spinning it inside of the wall, and then I do a very sloppy shell jump here. But we finally see why we need that yellow shell. We use it to hit the on-off block. And I feel like I'm a little bit of a disappointment with this ending. I was too focused in a survival mode to throw Yoshi down the pit. My time this week was 52 minutes and 51 seconds. That put me in 7th place out of the 16 racers who finished. This was a really strong use of autoscrollers. It was giving good, consistent setups all the way through the level. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'm going to keep putting out these videos showing my part of every week's RomHack Race. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more here on YouTube. You can also find me on Twitch and TikTok. My links are down in the description.
It's over!